So, welcome to everyone. Welcome to the Community Engagement Speaker Series from Community Living Toronto, highlighting different topics of interest, providing education and information to people with disabilities, families, caregivers, and the community at large. We're so happy to have Nick Hajiani, Program Manager of Employment Supports for Community Living Toronto, and Sarah McDonald, Project Manager of Social Enterprise and Employment Projects. So they're going to be speaking
Great.
about MyJobMatch, which is a service created for employers, job seekers with a disability, and employment support professionals to come together to track, match, and secure meaningful job opportunities. So if anyone has questions or comments, I'd appreciate if you could hold off until after their presentation. If you'd like to put your questions in the chat, we can have Nick and Sarah comment after their presentation. So I will hand it over to Sarah and Nick. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you, if only virtually. Pretty exciting to share about MyJobMatch. It's a project that's been around Community Living Toronto now for about 2.5 years. Part of that has been the building phase of it. But there's great opportunity here if you have somebody who is looking to be supported in employment, and that could look like a 5-hour job, a 10-hour job, 20, up to whatever the individual desires. But our MyJobMatch is the technology really to support the individual, and we'll navigate that together, Nick and I, a little bit. But I myself have been working for the past 2.5 years to make this come to fruition, and it's really a result of some changes that have been happening in Ontario around employment, specifically some challenges that the disability sector is facing with regards to some of these changes that the Ontario government has mandated. So part of the vision of MyJobMatch is really to create a solution to address some of those challenges. I'll pass it over to Nick.
Yeah, good afternoon or good evening, everybody. My name is Nick Hajiani. I work for Community Live in Toronto. I've been working in the Employment Services Social Enterprise Department with Community Live in Toronto for, I just finished my 35th year within Community Live in Toronto. I've seen a lot of transformations that have happened within Community Live in Toronto. And I have to say that this, the new initiative with the MyJobMatch technology is probably one of the best additions within the transformation model that I've seen in reference to assisting individuals to get support for employment and also navigate the process independently based on their choices of where they live, what they want to do, where they want to work, and what traits they're going to bring to an employer and how employers are going to benefit. So my department does job development, just job coaching, do the intake process, and we work with individuals and support them on the job as much as we can based on some financial limitations for them to be competitive and independent on the jobs. We have a network of hundreds of employers that we work with, past and present, and we encourage everybody to try at least the job match, the MyJobMatch platform. And when they try the MyJobMatch platform, if they need support, there's also support in the background to help them navigate the system with the service provider of their choice.
Thanks, Nick. How about we jump right into it? I'm going to share my screen, if that's possible. Yes, York South. Yes, it does. I'm answering somebody's question in the chat. Let me share my screen and I'll show you how to navigate the tool. So welcome to MyJobMatch. You can find us located. This is our marketing page, myjobmatch.ca. And it outlines really a bit about what we do, about MyJobMatch, our mission, vision, values. To sign into the platform, you're going to sign in over on this section as a job seeker. Now, You can log in if you've have an account existing already, or create an account. So I'm going to act as if you're a new user, just discovered MyJobMatch. You understand it's a platform specifically for those with a disability. And we're going to create a sign up, family and friends at hotmail.com. You can tell how old I am. Password. And from here, once you've created put in your email address and password, you're going to start as a new user. This reference code is if you've already had a profile and you're redeeming it from an employment agency. But if you're a new user, you're going to click new user and go through the basic information. I'm going to put mine in. All these fields are mandatory, just as the setup, and it's basic information, no health or medical or personal information beyond date of birth. And I'm going to put my address as 20 Spadina Road, Toronto, which is actually our corporate head office. So the uniqueness here in the MyJobMatch platform is that you have the ability to proceed by selecting an organization to work with, or if you're looking to proceed independently, you can select independently. So I'm going to select to work with Community Living Toronto. That's my agency of choice. And I'm going to enter in information here, building, and this eventually will accumulate in a profile in the platform. So I'm looking to work 10 hours a week, and I can select Monday, say Monday and Wednesday. This is obviously up to the job seeker's preference. And then work restrictions. This is not a mandatory field, but it does help kind of understand the job seeker profile. So must have peanut butter. Okay, must have peanut butter. There we go. So we've created this quiz as a way of building out the employer's profile by selecting a yes or no. And each time the job seeker selects yes, these data points here would be added to the job seeker's profile. So if I click yes, administration, meeting coordination, etc. Now, these details can be edited later, but for the sake of this demo, we're going to go through and select yes for 3 options. No to bike mechanic, yes to childcare. And now we've added skills to the job seeker profile. We're going to do the same thing as interests. I'm going to select 3, and then those points here at the bottom would be added to my profile. Yes to animals, no to art, yes to childcare, perhaps yes to computers. And so we're in once this loads. Welcome to MyJobMatch. So this is the platform from the perspective of a job seeker that is looking for employment. And as you can see, there's really 3 sections of the platform. There's job matches. So these are matches of job opportunities that align with my profile. So there's something within the skills and interests, as suggested by this check mark, that would be potentially a good match for me under this profile. I have a way of tracking active applications, and I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. And I also have the ability to edit my profile. So if I go in and edit my profile, I'm able to update whether, say, I'm open or not open to work. I can go in and update my skills and interests. And ideally, the more you include in these 2 sections, the more opportunity there is for matching. And then I can update those previous points that I had entered earlier as I built my profile. So I, as a job seeker, now can look at these opportunities, and by clicking on it, I can explore a little bit further. So this would include a job description below. And if this is something that perhaps piques my interest, I can like it, which then gets saved over in this section of the application, and I can go back and refer to it later, which I'll do. I can continue searching. Let's take classroom support. I can start an application. So what happens when you start an application and hit continue here? This application would then be sent to whomever is supporting you as an individual on that organization that you selected to work with. So in this instance, if I hit continue, Nick would get a notification that I, as a job seeker, would like to apply for this position. And then Nick and I can have a conversation about what that application would look like. I can go over in the My Job Matches section, and I can track my applications, the ones that I've liked over here. I can also look at my activity, what I've done in the past. And since this is a new profile, it only really has this. And I can also chat. So this function is actually one that we released as a new feature this week. And when I am connected with an agency, I'm able to send a message to my employment supports provider about any sort of question about the application, or perhaps how to update my profile, etc. So we try to create it to be as kind of intuitive and easy to navigate as possible. Now, when I referenced connecting with an agency, and I built my profile to connect with Community Living Toronto, I'll show you how this tool interacts. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to sign in as if I am somebody from the Community Living Toronto team. Excuse me. I'm going to sign in to my agency account. And I'll explain how this is really a 2-for-1 platform where you can engage together with somebody to support you along the way. So this is the application from the perspective of an employment supports provider. So you can see here that I just created that profile and I selected to work with Community Living Toronto. Now Nick, who is then being tagged as my support person, can see that I want to work 10 hours a week. I'm open to work, and then it gives all the details about what I'm expecting as well as contact information. So now what the database does is you can look for, Nick on my behalf actually can look for nearest jobs. So what it will do is we'll take the postal code of where I'm located. Now it's not loading. So we'll do this again.
And as we're waiting for this to load, I'll let you know that I've already received Sarah's profile. I've received an email about Sarah's profile through MyJobMatch, and I'm able to go in and I'm able to look at her profile, her skills, her interests, her overview, and her employment schedule and history, and any notes or any attachments that she had sent in. So if she would have sent in a police check or her resume, I'm able to see all of that and all her contact information. So that would allow me to connect with Sarah personally and say, hey, I got your profile. Welcome to MyJobMatch. How can we work together to see if we were successful through different jobs that have been tagged in connection to the algorithms with all the skills and interests that you've provided.
So it did eventually load. My goodness. So here we go. This now, as I click to nearest jobs, what it's done is it's looked for employment opportunities that are within proximity of my home address. And it looks like this role at the Four Seasons Hotel is 1.3 kilometers away. I can then also search by most aligned opportunities. And what that means is that there it looks for job opportunities that are aligned with whatever skills and interests I had put in my profile. So it suggests now front desk clerk, and it looks like I have perhaps 2 skills that match that job. I can see that it's 13.8 kilometers away. And it gives other possibilities here. You can see based on this blue bar where it kind of ranks options. And then if I select cumulative, it will suggest opportunities that are based on location, skills, and interests. Now I'm going to show another feature if I go back and actually apply for this job. Let's take this job. I'm going to start application, continue. So now I have expressed interest in job, and Nick has the chance now to see my profile as a job seeker. He's able to suggest different opportunities, whether it's based on location, skills, interests. And now the other thing that is interactive between the two platforms is this ability for Nick really to update me on the status of applications. So I'm going to see, I don't see my name. It must take a bit to load. I'm going to take Farron McDonald, for example. I've been supporting Farron, and I can see that she has liked this position at Shoppers Drug Mart. And now I can also see that she wants to apply for this position. So I have, from Nick's perspective, if he's the person of support, have the ability to update the status of their application. So if we're able to schedule an interview, I can say interview scheduled, at which point over on my job seeker side, I would get a notification saying that on my profile that I have an interview scheduled. We're able to toggle it to not a match, which means that I've probably had a discussion with Nick. You know, maybe we decide that perhaps this isn't the best opportunity. And when you indicate it to not a match, it removes the application from the other side of the job seeker platform. It removes the application here, active application, and I'm then as a job seeker able to apply for more positions. On the job seeker side here, I am only allowed to apply up to 5 positions at one time. So by indicating on the other side not a match, I'm able to go through and apply for more positions once these numbers have changed. So it's really an interactive way of engaging with the employment supports team. It's a way of an individual having the independence to look for work if they'd like. On this job seeker side, if I can toggle over, we actually have a feature here. This is actually a live chat. So it's offline now because it's beyond our customer support hours. But if I were to get stuck as I was navigating, you know, this building out my profile or looking for a job, I can actually create a message here and chat with somebody Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And that's actually a person. His name's Eric. And he's there to help you kind of navigate whether that's the application process or maybe even technical questions of the platform. But we've really tried to make this as human-centric as possible. Very intentional not to turn this into an Indeed or a Workopolis where, you know, when you send in an application or build a profile, there's no sort of interaction with anybody that can become a touch point. So along the way, we've tried to build this out so that if you're applying for the job, you be interacting with somebody within an organization, if not our customer support, so that you feel that you're supported along the way. And I think I will keep it at that. Have I missed anything, Nick?
No, no. And if when you and the one of the strong points that Sarah was making is throughout this whole journey with the MyJobMatch and the experience, which is very important, the individual's experience within MyJobMatch, is that at any given time, whether they want to go independent or whether they want to communicate with somebody through MyJobMatch, there's always somebody there as a touch point. We have not eliminated the human element of what employment services has always been. There's always that touch point with somebody for someone to guide you or someone to support you through your work experience and your choices and values and through the missions that we have at Community Live in Toronto. So at any given time, there's always somebody that you can connect with. And even if you do go through a service provider, you can connect with them directly and they can provide you some guidance and they can provide you some support and advice on what you should be looking for, what your choices and communication is. And what this does is allows for further dialogue. It allows for myself. Now, I got Sarah's profile. I'm going to connect with Sarah. I'm going to say, what are you doing? What are you looking for? What type of employment services have you worked with before? What have you liked? The other question is, what have you disliked? So the whole premise behind it is, what experiences have you had, if any, and how can we work towards getting you successfully employed in the future? And what strategies we can put in place and what areas we can look for that people are hiring or employers that we can connect with directly in what type of job direction you're looking for. So that's one of the important factors of the MyJobMatch is if I have 10 employers that I'm looking for, if they just connect with me, it's just 10 employers. But if we connect with the MyJobMatch portal, there's employers from all the staff and everyone can connect with somebody. So if I don't have the employers and they're looking for them, so I'm going to put all my employers in there. All the staff are going to put their employers in, and all the organizations that are part of it are putting their employers in there and the jobs. And that's further communication, because with my jobs that I would put in there with the employers that I have a connection with, if they have a question, if they find a job that's connected with another service provider, that other service provider can still get the connection of the individual to help them find a job in areas that they're looking for.
Happy to answer any questions. If there's something that we weren't clear on or need a better understanding of Community Living Toronto's employment services or even MyJobMatch.
Yeah, and everything that Sarah demoed is you don't have to remember every step that she did. It's impossible because Sarah and I don't remember every step that she did, right? So it's just part of navigating the IT area. And if you get stuck, like there is a place that you can communicate. There's an area that you can connect with a service provider that can help you, or there's a number and connections in there that you can connect with us that we can help you navigate through the system. So like Sarah said, it is a platform for people with a disability and of all disabilities. And at the same time, employers that have put their jobs on there, they also know that the people that are applying for their jobs are people with disabilities. So already we have that common communication, and we've worked with these employers, and these are the employers that we vetted out that we know are good employers to hire people with disabilities.
Hi.
Gordon.
That sounds great. I have an adult daughter on the spectrum, and we've been trying to seek out employment for her in various ways. She's worked for Goodfoot as a courier.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
And she's currently a member at Progress Place. And we're just trying to further engage her towards getting employed for like 20 hours a week or so. That's the next goal. So this is great. It looks good. I mean, says, I think I saw demos of this job match site a few years ago at um, um, a meeting. And it certainly showed promise. It looks good from my perspective.
Thank you.
So, what would I do? Get my daughter to sign up for MyJobMatch as a job seeker?
You could, yeah. I mean, sure, Nick and I, somebody on the team could help navigate a sign up as well.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, how would I get that facilitated with my daughter? Would she just reach out to you guys, or?
Yeah, sure. I'll put my email in the chat here.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're in Toronto, so.
Okay. Yeah, I can certainly help her set up a profile.
Yep.
And we can get going from there.
Sure. It's indeed it's kind of a challenge. She's also been working with submitting applications to the Toronto Public Library through their thing. I don't know whether you work with them or not, but
yeah, we
know
have.
better.
We've worked with the Toronto Public Library. It's not easy, Gordon, to navigate the Toronto Public Library. They're unionized staff, and the positions that they hire for are requiring sometimes some universities degrees and some specialties in either linguistics or teaching. But I do know that we have worked with the Toronto Public Library, and they have hired people with disabilities, and we have had people who have worked at the Toronto Public Library apply for different jobs. With Community Live in Toronto, I know that for a fact, and we've helped them get jobs in different environments that they chose to pursue.
Well, in my case, my daughter's got some post-secondary education, and she's just been applying for like a page job at the library. So not nothing super technical, but I just felt that it would be a nice environment. At least that's my daughter feels it anyway. So
yeah, and these are the platforms, Gordon, that we try to have these discussions at. We know that a lot of individuals, their first and second job is all done through nepotism, and somebody that I know, somebody that you know, and connecting on these type of calls enable us to share the common connections that we all have, and the common interests that specific individuals have, and what type of jobs they're looking for us to help each other get those jobs. And that's the common denominator behind all of this. Just because 10 people, that may help me in connecting with employers. But if I've been doing this for a few years longer than you, then you know what, I've been working with 60, 70, 80, 100 employers that I've had a relationship with. And that's going to benefit your daughter and somebody else's son. And that's the goal behind this. It's not a matter of which organization is getting the most amount of individuals employed. It's a matter of how can we network together, not work in segregated silos, in helping individuals within Toronto and the GTA, around everybody, in getting them jobs and the connections that we've all had.
That's terrific.
Yeah, so Gordon, as I didn't really jump into that aspect of MyJobMatch, but we're 18 collaborating agencies at the moment. And so what we do is we get together on a monthly basis and really evaluate how we're engaging with employers. And that's based on the profiles that we see coming in. So for instance, if your daughter's to create a profile and she's looking at, she has these different skill sets and wants to be in a certain kind of area, we're then able to engage employers a little bit differently, because we can say, okay, we can approach employers saying, we have 20 individuals here that are looking, have this skill set and are looking to, work in a library or a coffee shop, etc.
Sure.
And so it really helps that piece with the employers, to say, we have a workforce here that, is looking to work.
And the advocacy part of it is really essential, I think, for people like my daughter,
Mhm.
because that can't really advocate for herself.
Exactly.
Just she's quite capable of doing jobs,
Yeah.
but it's just completely
Right,
freaks
and
out.
that's the point
Yeah.
of the human connection piece.
Mhm.
So often when there's a job description in the platform, there's a person associated with it, or there's the person like Nick who's got that relationship with the employer
Mhm.
so that he can bring that resume to them, right? So that he's
Right.
the person that can do the advocacy work, or, use that existing relationship where there's some trust, right?
Mm.
That he's bringing
Yeah.
somebody
Yes,
forward. And
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a way better in than any sort of like portal where you just, page
Yeah.
1, page 2, page 3, so
Yeah.
And-
Maybe
We've all
they'll
been there.
respond to me, maybe not. I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
and
exactly.
Gordon, if your daughter was to send me her resume, for example, if I was another platform for employment opportunities, and I was to look at Goodfoot, the first assumption someone would make is, oh, she's looking for a courier job, or she's looking for something to do, and right off the bat, the conversation is entirely different. The conversation is, no, she's looking for a job in a library. She's looking for a job maybe in a bookstore. She's looking for a job, and that conversation with that human element of putting not text to thought, but putting a voice to the person who represents that resume. And a
Right.
lot of time that's what's missing. And that's why
Yes.
we've never disconnected the human element of MyJobMatch and the connections that individuals have because the whole one of the strong premises of having MyJobMatch is to connect people that are looking for work who do have a disability to someone
Mhm.
who can really help them. It's
Yes.
not just a drop and run. Here's my resume. There's 600. I've heard people in the last 3 months that in the Loblaws locations, the Loblaw stores, there's some job openings for Loblaws. Well, and they're entry level positions. We have an agreement with Loblaws and hiring people and at Costco and Canadian Tires. But the last Loblaws jobs that got posted, there was 600 applicants.
Whoa.
How are individuals with a disability, with high school or very limited post-secondary, even going to get chosen for these positions? But if I have that relationship already with Loblaws and they're like, you know what, let's hire somebody from Community Live in Toronto. You guys provide great support. You guys are always on time and always there to support us as an employer. And we just don't support the individual with this disability on the job. We actually support the employer to support the individual with a disability on the job.
Well,
And
that's great.
that's priceless to an employer
Oh,
because
for
it's
sure.
there's no loss. It's a win-win for everybody. And that's why the MyJobMatch platform, like my vision is this should be going right across Canada, and every other country should be enabling this. But I'm just the bigger thinker. You know what I mean?
Well,
and
it looks good. I mean,
the
I
government should
really,
fund all of it, right? But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, we have to be realistic in what the government can do. They're dealing with their own issues right now with whatever budgets and immigration, right? And the interest rates. So yeah, so there is a lot of potential, but what you saw a couple of years ago and what you saw today
night and
theoretically are
day.
two different platforms. This is what I could say new and improved, but this is at a different level. This is the improvement that we're looking at to give a stronger voice to individuals, more choices to individuals, for them to be able to navigate the process on their own. And if at any given time they're not able to click the buttons that Sarah was clicking to navigate it on their own, or at home when you're sitting with your daughter trying to, if you have a question, there's an opportunity for you to say, listen, I need some help with this. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it looks good. I mean, that's going to be my next conversation.
Yeah.
Appreciate the question, Jordan.
Yeah. And I've had conversations with parents and their children. And sometimes the individuals, and I'm aging myself, the next generation wants to do things a little bit more independently. And when it comes to the technology, they're like, you know what, I know what I'm doing. And you know what? I'm like, let them do it. And if they need help throughout the journey, I can help them. and then I can give them a code and they can go on their own. And after they have the code, they can go on more independently and they can edit whatever they want. They can delete whatever choices they've made and add more choices. So it's all about how they want to navigate it on their own.
Sure. Great.
I had a question. This summer, my daughter actually got a job at a farm through Danny. It's an organization in York
Yeah.
Region.
And he's part of the group.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
provided, or sorry, the federal government provided funding for a job coach. Can that be linked in with this as well?
So it depends on your model of employment, but that if for our organization, Community Living Toronto, that part of the services we provide is the job coach piece. And Nick, you could speak to that.
Yeah. So if it's outside Toronto, and we want to engage in some federal funding in reference to the job coaching, that could be that we can have that conversation. If it's within Toronto, with the catchment areas that we work within the staff that are at the Community in Toronto site, we can provide the job coaching. Or if there's already a relationship with the job coach, then we can actually have that conversation with that organization for them to provide the job coaching, because we want to make sure that the transition and the journey of the individual is as positive as possible. And if they say, well, you know what, I understand that Community in Toronto provides support, but I've also had a support worker that I've worked with for the last 5-6 years, and they're really good, and I want them to do it, then we can have that conversation. We're never going to say no to any opportunity for an individual to be competitive and be successful in employment.
Great, thank you. And so you said Danny is also part of this?
So
Mhm.
Danny is part of MyJobMatch, and they
Oh,
have
okay.
been such a positive contributor. So as you scroll down that list of organizations, Danny is actually an option to select.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So if you were to create a profile, you wanted to select working with Danny because of your success already, they would get that notification. And yeah, they've been such a tremendous partner, and they've actually been one of our biggest success stories is they're putting a job on the system and having it match with an individual, and it's actually, yeah,
Okay,
they've
great.
been super. Can't say enough good about them.
We work with them through the summer. My daughter is actually in the CICE program in Humber. So it's the end of her second year is over in March. So we're touching base again with Danny, actually Anna Gruzman in
Yeah,
January,
Hannah, super.
to look at long-term opportunities after April. So I'm sure she'll mention this as well. But this is great. Thank you.
Okay, I had a question about where the organizations are listed. So there's organizations that are listed on as you create a job seeker profile that you can select to work with. I think there's currently about 6 up there. The other additional organizations that I was speaking about, if you were, I can certainly email you that list. They're not on that list at the moment because they're not directly taking on job seekers. They're kind of at capacity. So some of those on the list may change depending on the threshold of support they're able to offer. But if you want to, oh, I could probably get your email from Tom after, but I'm happy to give you a list if you like.
Okay, thank you, Sarah.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can I just introduce myself?
Sure.
Okay, my name is Ishamita, and I'm a mom to a 17-year-old, almost a 17-year-old boy, who's got a multiple diagnosis. And I really don't know whether after high school he wants to go in for college, university, what he wants to do. He's pretty lost right now, and it's always like uh, pretty much of like a conflictual conversation between him and me, because he feels I'm biased towards university, like him not going to the university because I think he's not going to be successful. I really don't know. Maybe he wants to pick up a job after grade 12. And so I was just wondering, and also he doesn't know what he wants to do. So if I can just uh rewind a bit, and would any one of you have contacts for like a career coach? somebody who can talk to him, or somebody who has worked with neurodivergent population to just, figure out what could be his possible path.
Is you said your son?
Yes.
Is your son connected with a service provider right now? Is he getting support from any service providers? Is he registered with service provider?
No.
Are you in Toronto?
Yeah.
So why don't you connect with Community Live in Toronto, and we will have a conversation with the employment services team,
Okay.
and we will have an intake and a conversation with them. Doesn't
Okay.
cost anything. It could be done through Zoom. It could be done through a phone call with your son and your son. You can be on the phone call yourself if that's what you and your son feel comfortable with, and we'll
Right.
have that conversation based on his skills, based on his choices, and what he wants to do. And it's sometimes a way for the conversation to not be between the mom and the son. It's an outside person who's having that realistic conversation and trying to provide some guidance. I know a lot of individuals that I've had these conversations with, and they've decided, you know what, I want to go to post-secondary. I want to try it. They have nothing to lose except for the cost of post-secondary and get the experience. And once they've gone through that experience, they're like, you know what, I want to find a job. But you can also find a job at the same time that you're in college. You can try something that you're looking for and see what you're landing on. And there's many different aspects to this, because remember, we're not expecting someone who's finishing high school to know what they want to do after high school. Those expectations are
Did
not
anybody
even
know
real.
here?
No, and exactly, none of us did. Or and that's what I try to, when I talk to parents and individuals, is I'm not making any expectations. Try things. Don't say no to things. Just try whatever you want. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, at least you gained experience and knowledge of what you like and what you dislike. Like I know what jobs I dislike, because I've had many different jobs. But it's a matter of having that knowledge base with an individual who is trying out this journey. And remember, it is a journey. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. So at the end of the day, it's about us being able to put as many tools in the toolbox for these young individuals who are looking for employment to be able to make those decisions, because they don't want us to make those decisions for them. And I totally understand what you're saying. And it's a constant battle, because I have children too. So at the end of the day, it's a matter of having that conversation and saying, well, you know what? Why don't you look at this? You can do this on your own. Don't take my advice. Just go on it and look. And throughout that time, it's a matter of having that conversation and communication and letting them navigate the system. And then throughout this conversation, I've talked to parents and I've said, they don't need to, your son and daughter does not need to know that me and you are talking, but we can provide this conversation and guide them to where we think they should be or what they should try.
Okay, great. Thank you. I have your email now.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'd also highly recommend the CICE programs at the colleges. It's a 2-year program, but my daughter, she's really happy with it, and I think it was a great success.
CIC, what does that stand for?
Community into. Do you remember what CIC stands for? Okay. Yeah, I don't. It's offered.
It's community integration career something.
Right.
Yeah.
It's offered at Humber, George Brown. Um, there's about Georgian. There's about 4 or 5 places that offer, and it's based on the level of the individual. And some programs you need a high school degree, but the one in Humber, the qualifications that you don't have a high school degree. Oh, community integration through cooperative education.
Yes.
And the Humber one, in order to get in, you can't have a high school degree. So my daughter is in that program, and it's been great. She's finishing in April.
Yeah, and a high school diploma is not what a lot of individuals with a disability would graduate with. It'd be a certificate of completion, because they don't have the right amount of credits. But the CIC program allows individuals to apply to a college program, which is like a vocational college program, to allow them to get into looking at what type of careers they're looking for, provide them with education and skills and knowledge in reference to this. I think it was an initiative through Odin, the CICE program.
Interesting. Because it sort of fills the gap in a lot of areas generally, I guess.
Yeah. And some of the other colleges also provide vocational training. Some of the colleges have some technical like auto body, and some of them also have culinary programs. Some of them also have career programs that they can tap into. I know George Brown does. So these are also opportunities that you can look at.
Cool.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Linda or Zubair? Okay, and any final words, Sarah? Or oh, sorry, Linda, go ahead.
I just wanted to say thank you. This has been a real eye opener, and yeah, we have an adult daughter who's currently working, and we're looking to move her somewhere else for various reasons. So we're going to apply through your website here and see what happens. I don't know.
Mhm.
So thank you very much for all this information and looking at this. Thank you.
No problem. We could send you some information by email too. We do have some brochures that kind of provide some support to the individual and where to find us and how to sign up. So I'm happy to share that as well.
Yeah, if you
Okay,
wanna,
and even though she's still working, somehow you can still apply for another job?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
okay. Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
yeah, if you want to send me anything else, Sarah, I can forward that
Sure.
to those who attended this evening.
Yeah.
Super. Well, thank you, Sarah and Nick. This was a super fantastic evening and so
Yes,
much
thanks very much.
wonderful information. And thank you to those who attended. It's really great to see you. And yeah, so if you have any other questions or comments, you can always reach out to me, and then I can always follow up with Sarah and Nick in the future. So I hope you have a fantastic, wonderful Wednesday evening.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
everybody.
Thank you, Don.
Yes.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you,
Thank
Nick.
you. Have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.